That's talk about the species diversity, whereas ecosystem diversity talks about the number and variety of ecosystems or habitats within a particular region. So these are the three major levels of diversity. And let us see what is of genetic diversity. So genetic diversity is always plays an important role. Variation of all living forms at the genetic level, genes, alleles, or nucleic acids, that gives a huge amount of varieties. After some period of existence, they all will become the species. Like this, it goes on. A variation is the law of nature. Variation is a law of nature. Variation starts at the genetic level. Any changes at genetic level that implies on the phenotypic characters of the particular species, and also it gives a particular species to adapt to the environment. Genetic level of diversity is always very, very important for any species to adapt its environment. Any species cannot adapt to its environment. Survival of the fittest, which is not able to survive, which is not able to fit to the or suit to the particular environment, it cannot survive, and nature will withdraw that particular species. So for this, each and every species try to modify its genetic structure and get some adaptations so that it will well suit to the environmental changes time to time. So you can see here the number of colors, certain colors of kernels. It's all because of the changes at genes, and these are all various banana colors. That's again with the change of and human beings. Region-wise, national-wise, content-wise, you can see a number of variations among human beings. This is all because of the genetic combinations. And you see here brinjal, first one, next one is a tomato, and paddy, a pumpkin. These are all varieties, so many varieties. In paddy, there are nearly more than 1 lakh varieties of paddy available today. They're all at Rice Research, International Rice Research Station, Manila, Philippines. They're having more than 1 lakh varieties of rice. So these are all because of the change at genetic level. So genetic level of diversity also can be utilized in the genetic engineering technology, where we can change the form, we can alter the structure of the organisms and get benefited. And here are some GM foods, genetically modified foods. You all know the technology behind it, and introducing the desired genes into the particular species, particular plant or animal, and we're getting these things. And you know the popular golden rice, where they've introduced the gene to produce the vitamin A in rice itself, so that the poor man can eat the rice along with the vitamin A. No need to buy the carrots, no need to buy the costly food to get the vitamin A. By taking rice itself, you get the vitamin A. That's the main idea behind it. And you know, flavor of the fruit, taste of the fruit can be changed. Apple with the orange flavor, and even shape also possible to change. And orange with the kiwi, or banana with the kiwi, and the color of the pineapple can be changed. And you see watermelon, general watermelon color is this, but now in market these are all colored watermelons are available. This is because of change at genetic level gives you these many varieties. Okay. Genetic engineering gives you to combine the characters or to get the new things like flavors. You want different flavors in one fruit. That's possible. Or you want to change the color of the fruit inside. That's possible. This is all just manipulating the genes. Manipulating the genes gives you a diversified things. So this is all about the genetic level of diversity. And here you see one more thing. This is a PT cotton. Everybody knows it. Bacillus thuringiensis gene is introduced into the cotton plant so that the cotton plant can produce the uh, harmful substances when bollworm eats the fruit or the leaf of this plant, cotton plant. The gut of that bollworm get ruptured and it will die with the starvation. So this is the idea behind it. And once introducing of this BT cotton, there is a reducing of the pesticides, and that again help the environment in many ways. So that's all about the genetic level of diversity. And let's come to the next level of diversity, that is species diversity. This is a composition of all species in a given ecosystem, and it's a result of a long-lasting evolution. You know, evolution doesn't take place within a minutes or within days or within years. It takes millions of years for to evolve some species, new species. Okay, but evolution leads to the formation of new species time to time, and that fulfills the gap of a particular species which we lose by the extinction, and the services they rendered can be fulfilled or replaced by the new species. And that's not our role. This is the role of nature. Nature look into this. And then evolution is always role of the nature, and time to time it will withdraw some species and it will introduce the new species to the environment. Each species has adapted to its own niche. So to adapt, adaptations are very, very important here. And these adaptations are again based on the genetic vigor. And so that it can tolerate the temperature range, availability of food or light, whatever, any problems or any climatic or edaphic, whatever the problems the species face, these can be overcome by the changing at a genetic level or getting some adaptations. And in natural state, species always interact within the species or in between the species and with the ecosystems. These are all interactions, continuous interactions make the system in a balanced state. Otherwise, the system will go into imbalance, and that leads to the again destruction of the some more species. So what is the significance of the species diversity? Species diversity is always plays an important role in a particular locality, and when a species get extinct, their services for the global biosphere are lost forever. Remember, a species, any species, whether it is an ant or elephant, irrespective of their size, shape, if we lose one species permanently in the form of extinction, the services which the species provides to the nature, we lose that services permanently, and it is impossible to replace those services by any other thing, unless otherwise nature again involved and introduce other new species. Until then, those services will lack. And the loss of one species affects many other species. This is again a cascade effect. You know, the food chain. Primary producers and primary consumers, secondary, tertiary, like this it goes on. If we withdraw any species between, or if we withdraw secondary consumers, tertiary consumers are the first one will get effect on this. And again, the other species which depends on, again, they will get affected. Like this, it is a cascade effect. It will show very bad effect on the entire food chain, or sometimes it's a food web, because there are many interlinks. And any species that will take over the lost species niche will most certainly not replace all of the functions it used to perform. Of course, other species may come and occupy that niche, but the proper services cannot be fulfilled. What exactly the services we got from the extinct species cannot be replaced by the existing species. That's very importance of the species diversity. And here some mushrooms and bean diversity here, and species diversity. These are all various species living on the earth. Already I told you, we are one species after all. We are one species among all other species. There are millions and millions of species, and each and every species has equal right to share the things, equal right to live. But many times we think that we are the superiors and we grab all the resources from them, and we are leaving a dirty environment, unclean environment to them. That's again putting them under threat. And next important thing is an ecosystem diversity. Ecosystem diversity deals with the variations in an ecosystem within a geographical location, and its overall impact on human existence and the environment. So there are different types of ecosystems: mountain ecosystem, desert ecosystem, grassland ecosystem, marine water ecosystem, fresh water ecosystem. Like this, there are many ecosystems existing on the earth, and each and every ecosystem supports a unique type of species. Of course, again, they have their own adaptations. With that, they are surviving in the particular ecosystems. You cannot bring the cactus into the marine ecosystem or freshwater ecosystem, or you cannot take the freshwater plants or animals to the desert ecosystem, because in every ecosystem they have their own particular niche, and there they are adapted to that ecosystem with some adaptations. So this is an ecosystem diversity. Ecosystem diversity leads to the diversified animal and plant species with the suitable adaptations. And each and every species is unique in its form, in its structure, in its shape, and in its functions also. That's a very, very important thing. So all the living entities and the ecosystems completely forms the biosphere, and what we talk about the biodiversity. So value of biodiversity. Why to talk about the biodiversity? Why to read about the biodiversity? Why to think of the biodiversity? So biodiversity has an intrinsic value, something that has value in and of itself. The word itself, the biodiversity itself includes all living organisms, and each and every organism is unique, and the services are also unique. So that's a great value, and the services provided to the nature also very valuable. And what we get generally with the biodiversity, we get oxygen, we get a food, we get a clean water, we get a medicine, aesthetics, ideas, and many more things. So today we are seeing deficiency of oxygen. In India particularly, there is a dearth in the production of oxygen. So when I was a child, my teacher told in the classroom, in some countries, people used to buy water. We lost it, teacher, and by hearing that, what a funny thing, why people buy water. But today we are buying water. Because those days water is available everywhere. No contamination, no pollution. But now all the water resources are polluted and very few resources are available. And that only they are for the sale and we are buying. That's a very pathetic situation. And within soon time, we also we definitely will buy the air also. The day will come if the things go like this. Yeah. So here you see one interesting thing I would like to put. Fine bottled water hails from Japan. This is from Japan and is naturally filtered through the ancient volcanic rock from deep below Mount Fuji. So the volcanic rock that used to filter the water and to create a mineral-rich water and completely pollutant-free water. So now they packed it and they put for sale. You know the price of this water, just 750 ml. It costs around $5. $5. That's a price of the water. You can imagine how precious water is, how precious the natural things are. But we are not caring about the nature. And in the name of development, we are moving ahead just by ignoring the all natural resources. If you say put each and every natural thing for the cost, we cannot pay. No one can pay for the natural things. That's a value of the each and every natural resource. And biodiversity is good for humans because we get many different products from many different organisms, like a food, meat, eggs, milk, veggies, and different things, different products we get from the nature. Medicine, penicillin, and there are many medicinal plants still. People are depending on even allopathic medicine is also getting or extracting some medicines from the plants, clothing, wood, oxygen, protection, etc., etc., etc. These are all because of the natural resources. And here are some important plants. We get a bromelain drug from the pineapple that is used for control the tissue inflammation. And some are anti-cancer agents like a colchicine that we get from the Colchicum autumnale, and also Vinca rosea, vincristine, and vinblastin. And anti-malarial drugs are also available in the nature. That's quinine drug we get from the Cinchona officinalis or Cinchona legeriana. And some plants, some drugs cures the fungal infection, particularly the thymol that we get from the Thymus vulgaris, and anti-cancer agents, particularly treat ovarian cancer with the drug Taxol, which we get from the Taxus brevifolia. These are some important drugs. Of course, there are many, but few I have mentioned here. And the plants used in traditional systems of medicine, particularly the ancient system of medicine, that's Ayurveda, Unani, Siddha, homeopathy medicines. Majorly, the drug source is the plants. Drug source is the plants. And here the contribution shrubs 14%, climbers 21%, trees 28%, and 37% comes from the herbs. And that a particular part, plant part, leaves 46%, bulbs 2%, seeds 11%, goes on. Fruits, bark, flowers, we use to extract the medicine or drugs. And the family-wise distribution, this is here. This graph is showing available of medicinal plants from family-wise. And Indian system of medicine use 90% of raw material derived from the medicinal plants. Among these, Ayurveda, 30% of the medicinal plants are used in Ayurveda, followed by the Siddha system of medicine, and next 23% goes with the Unani, 10% with the Western and other medicine systems. See, some very important antiviral herbs I'm putting here because of the present situation demands these antiviral herbs. Ginger is the best antiviral plant, particularly that rhizome, ginger officinale, and followed by the garlic, Allium sativum, turmeric, curcuma longa, green Andrographis paniculata, Calendula officinalis, and Olea europea. These are the plants which are the best for the viral diseases and controls the virus. And next, nowadays people are encouraging the immunity also. Every product immunity booster, they are writing immunity booster and putting for market. So natural immunity boosters are also available from the nature. Nature is giving these herbs to improve, to enhance the immunity. Ashwagandha is the best one, followed by the licorice, tulsi, amla, azadirachta, and turmeric. So people are bending towards the alternative medicine than the Western or allopathic medicine because it has many side effects, and people are getting more awareness and turning towards the alternative medicine or ancient system of medicines like the Unani, Ayurveda, Siddha, homeopathy. But again, it's putting more demand, more pressure on the exploitation of the plants, and there is a decreasing of these resources, plant resources particularly, because to prepare the medicines, drugs, and all these, they're exploiting more and more. If the plant is of the particular organoleptic part is a root, there is a chance for the putting that plant for endangeredness and for extinction also because of over exploitation. And how biodiversity supports the farm profit? How it supports? See here, soil microorganisms and plant roots, so that we get healthy soils like some bacteria, nitrogen fixing bacteria, which is available in the soil, or the earthworms, and all these helps the farmers to get the healthy soils and ground cover, deep-rooted perennials. They have the water retention capacity and they maintain the moisture, and also they stop the soil erosion. And bees, birds, bats, and other insects, their valuable services in the form of pollination already we discussed. Without these, we cannot imagine the survivability of the plants. Without plants, no living entities can be seen on the earth. The next one is water cycling can be done by the plant roots, burrowing creatures, and roots that SPAC, soil plant atmospheric connectivity. So from soil, plants absorb water and release it into the atmosphere in the form of transpiration, so that water is recycled. That can be done. That's one of the important aspect. Legumes, stock, and here I would like to bring the Goods here. Goods is a very famous phytogeographist. He says that vegetation of a particular locality decides the climate of the particular area, and climate decides the culture of the people. See, there is a connectivity between the culture and the plants. vegetation of a particular locality decides the climate of the area, and climate of the particular area decides the culture of the people. So this is the connectivity. And legumes, stock, organic matter, soil microbes, and these are all enrich the soil, and recycling of all the nutrients takes place. And native vegetation, beneficial insects, all act as a pest control. And here native vegetation is very, very important. And we are losing this native vegetation. There is a threat, a lot of threat for the native vegetation by the exotic plant species. Already we are seeing many exotic plants have entered into the India, and they have acclimatized and they have dispersed to the each and every corner of the India. And there is a lot of threat, huge threat to the our native vegetation, because there is a allopathic action called they release some chemicals into the soil to control the growth of the native vegetation, and meanwhile they grow very rapidly and occupy more and more spaces and grab all nutrients, so that our native vegetation or our native species, plant species, get cornered, and these exotic plant species occupies more and more. So that gives the our native vegetation, puts the native vegetation to the threat, endangered, and conditions goes like this, they will extinct. So next we'll go to the magnitude of the biodiversity. How the biodiversity is magnitude.